Hey, what'd I miss? We're one and the same. Drafter back for another episode of Darkspore Hikes with your host,
Ranger Ray.
Oh, hello there, Ray Killer. Okay then, so there's one creature we've encountered on our hike so far. Anyways, we're here today on Cryos, home of plasmagenesis. Boy, it is freezing out here.
Oh, that ain't good. Well, we probably ought to look around here a bit. Make sure there ain't any infected critters running amok.
Okay, what's up here?
You hear that? Something ain't right.
Oh, something's out there. That's an ACU unit. Alright, I think there's going to be more of them. Yeah, it's kind of like a wind farm. Except, I guess this is how, other than geothermal heat, people in Kryos these days get their power. That ice. That's amazing. Well, maybe while we're inspecting these ACU towers in the background, I could go into a bit of lore regarding this frozen world. Kryos is a planet that has been locked in a global ice age for a very, very long time, even before the Darkspore Horde. This is probably due to the fact that its core began to cool down, leading to a drop in geothermal activity. Eventually, progenitor Pytron came across the planet. He thought it was probably a lost cause trying to save this world, but he changed his mind after seeing how endearing the sentient race of reptilians that called Kryos home were, and thus he decided to intervene and help reignite the planet's core by opening up a white hole. And that caused some unforeseen consequences, such as... Wait, hold on a moment. It's Mr. Invincitron. Holy cow, I wasn't expecting you to be a reoccurring character in this series.
How you doing? It's been a while. What brings you out to these here parts?
Greetings and salutations once again. I am out here on important business.
It wouldn't have something to do with that mutation mine I spotted earlier, would it?
I regret to inform you that it indeed does. We are quarantining the immediate vicinity to contain and eliminate any mutated life forms. I am sorry, but you are not allowed past this point.
Alright, fair enough, but there ain't nothing past this here point but a wall of ice. Well, anyways, good luck with that containment work there, Mr. Invincitron.
Well, This isn't good. I really don't want to call it an episode here, but I don't really want to get caught up in some alien containment mission when I can't even interact with anything without the risk of crashing the game. So we're going to move to a different area that hopefully isn't under lockdown. See you guys when we get there. Jesus Christ, it's so cold out here. Anyways, we're back in a different area. This time in some more icy drifts where we can actually kind of see the plasma seas that Kryos is famous for. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Those consequences I was talking about earlier. Alright, I guess I can continue on about that while we hike. So, when we left off, the white hole was opened up at the planet's core. It did indeed help reignite it. Volcanic activity did indeed resume, the oceans thawed, and the magnetosphere was restored. And everyone was saved and happy. Except, new problems arose when the seawater started to crackle and turn into a plasma-like state. Not only that, a lot of the volcanic activity was still buried under miles of ice sheets. The atmosphere also became supercharged, so now thunder snowstorms are a regular occurrence here. And what do you do when you made a planet capable of inflicting heat burns, freezer burns, and electrical burns to its inhabitants? Why, you make them plasma genetic, of course.
Like this here pterosaur. Plasma genetic saurian critter that calls this place home. Oh, that's a shade drifter. What in tarnation is a necrogenetic creature like that doing out here? Oh,
I think I can see what's going on here. We should probably keep moving. I'll explain after we get to a more sheltered area up ahead. Okay, let's get... Ooh, mushrooms. I think it's time to go into a special creature feature segment about a subset of necrogenetic creatures known as the heat stealers. The primary life form type on Kryos is plasma genetic, creatures capable of producing flames and electrical shock, though most plasma genetic fauna in this age have a more toned-down augmentation. And these genetic modifications are essential for surviving on a planet that is still largely ice-locked and whose liquid water can burn you to a crisp. However, there is a small minority genetic type that also now reside on Kryos: necrogenetic creatures. Most, if not all, necrogenetic organisms on Kryos are either invasive or, in the case of a few sentient races, immigrants, all being originally from the planet Nocturna. Now, we won't go into the few necro folk who reside on Kryos in this episode. No, we're here to talk about the invasive necrogenetic creatures that developed a unique strategy for survival in this frigid world: life force and body heat siphoning. Frost drifter, Rhodonyx thermophagus, a descendant of shadow drifters that became stranded on Kryos after the fall of the Dark Spore. The frost drifter has adapted to this colder climate by developing a fluffy coat that glows a ghostly purple when idle. They feed by latching onto this unsuspecting target and draining them of their life force and body heat, using only their sharp claws to siphon their prey dry. What we saw out in the cold was this heat stealer siphoning the pterosaur's life force, along with its body heat. They seem to live in ice caves like this one. Oh, there's one now.
alright now. Let's try to be careful around it. Just because we ain't plasma genetic don't mean it won't go after us.
But the frost drifter isn't the only heat stealer in this place. In fact, there's another, smaller, more familiar looking heat stealer here too. The frost screech. Frost screech, Cryoepithecus thermolestes, a rare necrogenetic primate endemic to Kryos. The frost screech is the closest off-world relative to the genetic hero Wraith. Emerging at dusk from the ice caves it shelters in, frost screech feed on unsuspecting prey by latching on using their grasping hands and feet, and draining their victim's life force, while also transferring any bodily heat to themselves. It remains uncertain how these creatures arrived on Kryos from Nocturna. The frost screech in this region are notorious among the members of the indigenous Gitas tribe, often leaping onto their backsides where they can't physically reach, and draining the struggling doofus's life force before leaving them to die of hypothermia in the frigid cold.
Season's Greasons! Previously
an avatar.
The shadow mites. Shadow mites produce a light-absorbing dander, which essentially allows them to remain in the shadows at all times, under any lighting conditions. And they're quite bold for their size. Shadow mites aren't fully limited to Nocturna either, but that's a story for another episode. Well, today's that episode. Yes, shadow mites have somehow found their way over to here on Kryos. But that was a little while ago. And they have since evolved into siphonics, Nixodes maximus, the result of a sudden mutation to a population of invasive shadow mites. The siphonics has grown far larger than its ancestors. The light-absorbing dust that allowed for their shadow mite ancestors' stealth has ignited in Kryos' supercharged atmosphere, giving the siphonics a mane of ghostly blue-white flames. Maintaining this heat source is crucial for their survival. The stealthy shadow mites seem to have arrived on Kryos by slipping aboard a space cargo ship undetected, leaving Nocturna and arriving on Kryos. Now, this isn't a terribly uncommon occurrence, as it seems that shadow mites have also arrived on other planets of the TNX Nebula as well. However, Kryos seems to be the only planet, outside of their homeworld of Nocturna of course, to have established any meaningful population at all. All the other worlds' invasive mites going extinct shortly after their arrival, due to a number of reasons we won't go into right now. Whatever made Kryos a suitable new home for these shadow mites remains a bit of a mystery, but now their descendants, the large predatory siphonics, roam the icy wastes in search of their next victim. Any siphonics that hasn't made much luck in feeding themselves won't have to go hungry, as their colony will share the spoils of more fortunate siphonics members. A colony whose size and exact location remain unknown to this very day. Man, look at this. Look at this. If I asked you what planet I was on, you would think I was on Nocturna. But no, I'm on Kryos. Kryos, the frozen hell, like hell froze over, practically. Ooh, rocks. Like the rocks. Really neat rocks here. Probably add those to my mod down the road. Also recognize a number of these plants. Glowing moss. Nice. I do kind of like how everything kind of looks not quite realistic. Like it's almost like a plastic look, like it's like we're all just toys in a plastic set. I don't know, it just kind of gives it a bit of its own charm. I mean, yeah, no, it just gives this game a bit of charm, because, I don't know, the snow looks like plastic, or maybe even like frosting. I do like how we have footprints in the snow. That is actually pretty darn neat. Good attention to detail. They even look like they're roughly the same shape as Wraith's cloven hooved-like feet. Anyways, what's down here? Oh, we're back in the ice cave again. Ooh, I like that detail on the rims of the ice. That is really neat, actually. Oh, and there's that teleporter we saw earlier. So we're in the lower section of the same cave. That's really neat. I like that.
Yeah, it's too bad Krell and Maldry didn't get to see this. Wonder how they're doing back at the camp.
It's so cold out here, and yet somehow your skin is burning me to a crisp. Can you please move over even just a little bit, Krell?
Well, I'm sure they're doing fine either way. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Probably ought to wrap up this here episode about now, so if
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to tune in for our next hike, where we will be going back over to Verdanth, where it's not a frozen wasteland full of soul-sucking monsters and dinosaurs on fire. So until then, take care everyone, and think habitat.